Yes, yes, exactly what we all needed. Another white gay boy giving his opinions on Drag Race. Finally! Just kidding, this video is not going to be about giving my opinions on Drag Race, but it is going to be about reading books inspired by the RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17 runways. This idea came to me like a bat to the head while I was in the shower one day. I was like, boom, like, oh my God, you have to do this. Because it just seems so fun. Like, it's my two favorite things. It's Drag Race and it's books. Like, that seems so fun. Originally, the idea was to read books inspired by the Drag Race Season 17 lip syncs. And the more I thought about it, the more it became clear that that was really just gonna be like reading books inspired by the songs used in the lip syncs, and I'll be fucking damned if I read a book inspired by Woman's World by Katy Perry. Like, I'm just not gonna fucking do it. But then I remembered what Books and Lala did a few weeks ago, where she read a book inspired by Dress to Impress on Roblox, and like the category, the theme for the Dress to Impress challenge, and I was like, oh, I could do that with the Drag Race runways. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna be reading books inspired by the first 3 runway categories. The first one was Masc for Masked Singer. The second one was Is It Cake? And then the third one was Monopulence. So I'm gonna go through each of these, talk more about what the theme was, what it meant, what they were challenged to wear. I am going to give a little bit of opinion just because I think it'll be fun to look at my favorite looks. And then I'm going to tell you what books I have chosen to read based on the runway themes. I've already picked them out. Let me preface this by saying that I am allowed to take any aspect of the runway I want and use that as inspiration for the book that I choose. So it can be just like maybe an element on the cover is reminding me of the runway challenge. Maybe it's a particular queen's look that is reminding me of the book. Maybe it's the actual subject matter, the actual content of the book that is reminding me of the challenge. So I am saying at the start here, I am allowed to do whatever I want, and I will give my explanation as to why I am choosing the book for the theme. I'll explain it, but I'm giving myself complete control and so much leniency as to how I am deciding that. So I don't want to hear it. Like, I don't want anybody going in the comments and being like, well, how does that book remind you of that? I don't want to hear it. Okay, so I'm going to go through each of the looks and try to give a very brief opinion on each one, hopefully under a sentence, but y'all know how I love to yap, so let's see if I can stick to that. The first category was Masc for Masked Singer, and it was basically just a look like with a mask on. Most of them ended up being helmets rather than masks, but that's a different conversation. First was Acacia Forgot. I'm looking at them here, but I'll put them on screen. Acacia Forgot, this like sad snowman thing. The fact that this was the first look of the season is kind of upsetting. Ariete, shut it down. 8 down. She never fails on the runway. Okay, I am not a hater of this look like a lot of people are. I love the mask concept. From the neck down, it's kind of bad. That she's gotten better about that throughout the season, but earlier in the season, Crystal Envy's tea really was horrible from the neck down. But love this. She's eating. Hormona, cute. Love Hormona so much. Like, it works. Jewel's best look of the night, in my opinion. This was so freaking cute. That color is amazing. Not too much. Not too much on Mother. You guys, it's so bad, but that's Mother. Like, it's fine. I didn't love this. It, like, wasn't that exciting, but, like, it's fine. I hated it. I'm sorry. So what you're not seeing is that thing closes and it's a cat. And she's supposed to be looking like her cat, like her pet cat. But, like, baby, I'm sorry. Your cat is an ugly color. Like, this is just so ugly. And, like, the jumpsuit not going down to cover the whole foot. Ooh, I don't like it. Okay, Lexi Love, the fact that she's wearing this puffy ass astronaut costume and is still giving body tea the waist, that waist is crazy. Lucky Stars, you can't really tell in this picture, but like she's supposed to be giving pizza and like the head shape is not perfectly triangular. Like it doesn't really look like a pizza. It's sad. This like looks okay in the picture, but I like actually hated this look. I did not like it. Oh my God, I'm just now noticing too how terrible those like thigh-high boots are. I did not like this look. That's Mother too. Like, yeah, it's like messy. Also, like, I don't remember what the mask was supposed to be. It's kind of a chop, but that's Mother. Okay, Sam Star, like, rainbow looks are always gonna be ugly, but I really liked what she did here, like, with the cloud and, like, the whole, like, the whole idea of all of it, I think is nice. And, like, as far as, like, ugly-ass rainbow dresses go, like, this is the least egregious version of that, so I'm not upset by this. Okay, Susie 2... her makeup is so bad. And, like, I don't know, I didn't like, you can't see it in this picture, but, like, the way it was on her head was like you were looking at the edge of, I guess it's supposed to be like a quarter or a dime or something, and, like, when it's on her, you're looking at the edge of it and you can't see the sides of it unless she turns. I just, like, didn't like how this was executed, but I love Susie. Okay, so this category, Masc for Masked Singer, I think the, like, most obvious thing to do would be, like, a cover with a mask on it. And I was looking around my apartment and the only thing I found was Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, because there's a mask on it. And it's not just because I decided not to go with this. I'm not doing this one. And not just because I really don't want to read this. I've talked about this on the channel before. This is going to ruin me. I already know. And I cannot read this until I'm emotionally available for it. So I was like, no, this can't be the book. So I started thinking, like, what else is Masc for Masked Singer giving? Well, Masked Singer is a TV show. It's like a reality competition singing show. And then Masc for Mask is obvious, well, not obviously, if you're not gay, maybe you don't know. But, like, it's like this, like, toxic masculinity dog whistle within the gay community about, like, manly butch men who only date other manly butch men, like, whatever. So, like, that's what that whole thing is giving. And so I'm thinking more about, okay, like, what other books do I know about? And I thought about The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrane. I did not already own this book. I did have to buy it, but it was on sale for $8.95. And this is about this guy, Charles, who is on a reality dating show, which is very obviously The Bachelor. They don't call it The Bachelor, but, like, it's very obviously The Bachelor. And so it's like, okay, reality competition show, that's giving me Masked Singer. And it's a romance between him and one of the producers on the show. But because he's on a dating show trying to court women, but, like, there's gonna be a romance between them, like, it's like there's homosexuality happening, but if he's able to court women on The Bachelor type show, like, clearly he has to be Masc. So we're giving the Masc, we're giving the reality show, Masc for Masked Singer. So this is what I'm going to be reading for that category. Okay, the next category was Is It Cake? And the theme was basically just, like, showing your ass, like, cake. And so that is probably the reason that I cannot find the looks on Instagram. So I'm having to go to Fashion Photo Review to find the pictures. So I don't know what the pictures are going to look like when they are going up here, because I can't find them on Instagram. I might have to go to all the individual queens' Instagrams and, like, get them from there. That's going to be a chore. Whatever. The first one is Sam Star. Yeah, it's, like, exactly where my mind goes to when I think Is It Cake. When she turns around, she has her ass out. She's a cake. It's, like, basic. It, like, is, like, sure. Yeah, that's what you're doing. Okay, next was Anya Nerve. Decidedly not cake. It is peach cobbler, but, like, she looks fine. Crystal Envy, like I said, early season she was allergic to serving. Like, she's doing a little campy little suntan bottle girl. I don't know. I did not live. Corey King, like, there are a few girls this season who just want to be girls from past seasons so bad, and she's literally wearing a look. She's literally wearing Monet Exchange's look. Like, she got that from Monet Exchange. Like, this is your moment. It just bothers me. And it, like, doesn't look that great. So, boo. Lexi Love, I love the look. It reminded me of what's that bitch name? Lazy Susan from Drag Race Down Under. She did this. And that was so fucking cool. And this reminded me of that. Like, obviously not as good, but like, she looks good here. I take major umbrage with the cake portion because it's just literally an assless jumpsuit. Like, can we get some creativity about how you're showing your ass? Like, that's, I feel, what the category was calling for. But like, she looks great. Like, I love Lexi. That's my queen. Hormona Lisa, love her, but what can I say that Michelle didn't already say? No more Marie Antoinette on Drag Race. It's so boring, and she's not even the last one in this runway. Like, it's just wherever. Here's my advice to every queen who's gonna go on RuPaul's Drag Race, because I clearly, as a white gay man who watches RuPaul's Drag Race, am the foremost leading expert on drag. When you are thinking about your runways, whatever you think of first, do something different. Like, because somebody else is probably also thinking that. Marie Antoinette is just the most obvious thing to do. So do something else. I did like the colors though. I think this is my top suit of the week. This, like when I saw it, it like took my breath away when she came out. She is so fucking beautiful. Allergic to serving. Like, she just can't do it. And then when she turned around and showed hairy ass on RuPaul's stage, that was crazy. Yeah, 8 as usual. I love this wig on her. I usually don't like a sparkly sculpted wig, but this is like so intentional and so like thought out. She looks so great. Yeah, it's just boring. Here's the thing. I need bitches to start realizing that flags are ugly. I don't care where the flag is from. I don't care what the flag is meant to represent. The flag motifs are always ugly. And then when it doesn't fit either, I forgot about her wig. I forgot about the wig on this look. This look was crazy. This look was truly crazy. Her like head to body proportion with that tiny little dress on. And like, if you watch, it was especially in the Ranka Queen, where like they were just showing her from like the torso up, and she had that tiny little dress on with that big head and like that big wig. She looked like the bitch from Alice in Wonderland, the like the Tim Burton one, Helena Bonham Carter, when she did the Queen of Hearts, when she had that tiny little body with that big head. That's what this was giving. That wig is crazy. And then when she went untucked and told other people about their look, that was crazy. That's my mother. That is my mother. Yeah, like, just boring. I don't know. Like, I'm not really into, at this point in the show, and the level of quality we expect at season 17. Like, I feel like when Nina Bonina Brown was on season 9 and she was kind of doing this crafty sort of thing, it, like, was fine and new for the time, and, like, the quality level in season 9 versus the quality you expect in season 17 are just like completely different. And like, there's problems with that, sure. Like, this isn't a Drag Race channel, so I'm not going to get into like the problems with the level of quality we're expecting from like people who are mostly poor, like they're working drag queens, like they're not rich. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't think it was well done. And that square ass, how she turned her ass into these square sponges, it was bad. Lydia Butthole Collins, very apt name for this runway. I think she looks good. I don't mind this. I hated the spikes on the ass. Like, why? Why? And then Susie too, like, yeah, this look is objectively bad, but it's like, I don't think it's meant to be good. I think it's meant to be funny, and it was funny. Like, is it cake referencing ass, and so you turn into an ass, a donkey? Like, it's funny. Like, sure, the dress is hideous, but like, it's fun. I live for Susie. Okay, I think that was everyone. So is it cake? This one, very easy for me. Something cake related. Didn't have to think too hard about it. Fake dates and mooncakes. It's cake. I don't remember what this is about. This is male romance. One of them owns a bakery and like they're gonna fall in love. Easy. Okay, and then the third runway was Monopulence. Drag Race is getting funded by Monopoly for some reason, so they did a whole design challenge based on Monopoly. And so each of them were assigned a color, like how in Monopoly the different things you can buy have colors on them. Like Boardwalk is blue. There are other things that are other colors. And so they had to design a look just out of one color, and then they just turned that into Monopoly. So Acacia forgot. This is like literally fine. I don't, it's just fine. Ariete ate as per. Like, she looks fucking great. Crystal Envy. Now, here's my hot take. I think she should have won. No tea. I think she should have won. She looks so fucking good. I love this. I love that long ass train coming off. I think it's like the neckline turns into the train. She looks so fucking good. Hormona Lisa, this dress didn't need the rhinestones. She looks so beautiful. I love the texture of it. She looks great. Jules, like, girl, even if Anya didn't take that trim from you, you still wouldn't have been in the top. Like, she looks good, but like, you can't see it in this picture, but the trim she had on the front seam, like, was wavy as fuck and it was supposed to be straight. Like, Anya didn't keep you out of the top, girl. But she looks good. Like, I like this. I'm just being a hater. That's mother! You can't tell me anything. That is mother down. She should have won. She should have won. They should have named her winner of season 17 right here. That is my mom. Working boot. Like, opulence. Like, you're supposed to give opulence. And yes, I know, I just sat here and said that Joella was mother for wearing a bodysuit. But Corey's not giving opulence, and I stand by that. Joella is mother. Joella is opulence. She is known for her opulence and her looks. And this is, you look like Big Bird. Not living. Lana 8. Controversial take amongst my friend group. People weren't living for the itty bitty scarf that only went to her mid-back. I loved it. I love that little dainty little puss. Like, she looks so cutesy. Like, safe was good for her. Like, she didn't need to be in the top, but I thought this was cute. This could have been in the top too. Oh my god, she looks so good. She probably wasn't in the top because it's not like, it's just like a mini dress. Like, that's not necessarily opulence, but like what she did with that like bolt of fabric that she just threw, like, she looks so good. And that mug too, like, her makeup is so gorgeous. She was clocked though. I don't remember what like recap show it is, but like somebody clocked her because they're like, she doesn't even have any kind of hairpiece in. Like, that is just her hair that she put into a bun. Like, girl, at least put a hairpiece in, which, I don't know, wake that up. But she looks great. Let's move on. Let's move on, part 2. I did not like this. She's just always swimming in her clothes. Like, well, it's more like this was the first offense of that, and the next 2 episodes, which I'm not talking about in this video, she's also swimming in her clothes. Like, I just feel like she's always swimming in her clothes. I did not like this. It was too much going on. Okay, wake this up. Out of the top 3 for this challenge, because the one I said that I thought she should have won, she wasn't even in the top 3. That was Crystal Envy. Anya Nerve, this look was in the top 3, and I think it should have won. I think she ate. And then Sam Star, this is the look that won. It's grown on me the more that I've seen it. Like, originally I was gagged. Not that she looks bad. I just think this cut of dress is kind of boring and like done. But like, for what it is a very well done version of that. So like, whatever. And then Susie too, doing this little devil look, like, it was cute. For this one, the theme is monopulence. We're thinking rich, right? And my bestie Angel, I asked him because that's like the kind of things that he likes in books, like rich people drama type beat. And so I was like, do you have a recommendation, anything like that? And one he gave me was like super obvious. I should have thought about this. The Great Gatsby, like, that's just such an obvious choice, and I haven't read it since high school, so that would have been a good reread. But then he also told me, he said, well, what about Crazy Rich Asians? And in honor of the premier Slasian diva of LA, who is known for giving opulence and giving looks, who ate up the motherfucking lip sync this episode to, what's it called? That Paula Abdul song. She ate the house. I have watched that lip sync like 10 times since then. And in honor of her and being known for opulence in LA and giving the best runway look of all time, I'm going to go with Crazy Rich Asians, which I don't have. I have it right here. I'll probably just listen to it on audiobook. So, this is the TBR. The Charm Offensive, Fake Dates and Mooncakes, and Crazy Rich Asians. I'm 80 pages into this already, so I'll just tell you how I'm feeling. So this is what I said it was. It's about this guy, Charles. He's on, it's called Ever After, but it's very clearly The Bachelor. And Dave is his handler, basically, like his story producer that's assigned to him. And it is very clear from the beginning that Charles is like a fucking nutcase. Like, he has OCD, and he is socially awkward, and he doesn't like talking to people, and he doesn't like being touched, and he is just the complete antithesis of what you would expect a bachelor to be on this show. But he was chosen because he's like a millionaire, and he had recently been in the news, and just like the creator of the show thought he'd be a good choice. Come to find out, he's a fucking freak. So, but he's like so charming. Like, he's just a little socially awkward weirdo who doesn't like being touched. And so Dave is like trying to get him out of his shell. And they just went on a practice date because like as they're filming like the dates for the show, like all the producers are like, we can't even fucking edit this into something romantic. Like, this is so awkward. This is gonna be the worst season. This is gonna get us canceled. And so Dave like is like, well, let's go on a practice date, like try and get you out of your shell. And it's clear what this is. Like, this is marketed as a male-male romance. So at some point we're gonna learn that Charles is actually gay. And they keep kind of alluding to, like, he keeps saying he's not attracted to any of the women, and like there's a reason why he hasn't like been going on dates and doesn't have a girlfriend. And they haven't said it yet, but they keep like hinting to like some reason why he is not attracted to any of the women and doesn't go on dates. And like the gag is going to be it's because he's gay. And like it's said that the reason that he agreed to do the show is to fix his reputation, because he's like a tech millionaire, like a tech bro millionaire, that for like reason, like they talk about he got fired from his tech job and like can't get a job in tech anymore because he just has like a horrible personality because he's just such an awkward person. And so he's like he agrees to do the show to like fix his reputation. So like that's said from the beginning, and it's probably going to be revealed that yeah, he did that. He agreed to do the show to fix his reputation, but also I'm gay and I'm not looking for love with a woman, and I'm only doing this because all of this is fake. But Dave is like so like optimistic about this reality TV dating show that is like very much known to just be fake and just be TV. And he's like, no, love is real. Like, we can find you love. It can happen. And so like they're going on their practice dates, and there's like a little bit of tension, and like it's just clear that like they're gonna have their moment. And like the gag when it's the finale and they have this like romantic tension together, but like Charles has to propose to one of the girls and like get engaged to them. And like what's happening in my head is it's like gonna be like a live finale or like a live reunion or something, and Dave is like gonna rush on stage, it's live TV, and he's gonna confess his love to Charles, and it's all gonna be so romantic and cute. And that's what I'm thinking. Like, that's where I want this to go. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this so far. I am not enjoying the audiobook. The audiobook is trash. Boo. Never listen to it. I'm gonna see if I can like screen record my phone, and like that way like the audio from the audiobook is recorded. And like if I do that, then I'm gonna put it in right here.
Ryan pushes the hair out of his eyes and continues. We should be far more concerned with what happens when the show airs and all of America sees Charles' nervous sweat in high def. I think you all underestimate the power of Dave's charm offensive, Maureen Scott says from her place at the front of the room.
Just so you can see how horrible the narrator is, and like how grating his voice is, and like how horrible and like Valley Girl he does like the women's voices.
On cue, a production assistant opens the limo door for him. He steps out of the car. Hey babe, Jules says condescendingly. How are you doing? He slings his handler bag over his chest. Don't patronize me. She's already pivoted and started her brisk march up the hill toward the castle. If you don't want to be patronized, I guess you don't need these.
It's so awful. But I'm about to wrap this up because I'm getting so hot. But yeah, I'm like 88 pages into this, and I will let you know when I'm a little bit further and give you an update. I just got to the part where Dave gets bourbon on his shirt, and Charlie doesn't like that. and I just really think I'm gonna like this book. Okay, I have a lot of updates for you. I finished The Charm Offensive last night, and I read Fake Dates and Mooncakes in its entirety today. I'm kind of matching. I didn't like realize that that was happening, but I read this book all day today and was matching it. That's so cute. I'm about to spoil this real quick. So, like, whatever this timestamp says, skip to that if you don't want this to be spoiled. I'm gonna give you a minute. I'm giving you a minute. I'm giving you a minute. I'm giving you a minute. Grab your remote. I'm giving you a minute. Spoilers incoming now. I was right! I was fucking right about the way this all concludes and the way this all happens. It was a live reunion, and Charlie is talking about how, like, he doesn't think it's a good idea to talk to Dave anymore because of, like, things that happened throughout the season, and, like, they end up breaking up, and it's, like, 3 months later when the reunion happens. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but, like, when the show airs, they like air it to be like Charlie and Dave's love story for whatever. There's reasons behind that. It doesn't matter right now. But like in the reunion, Charlie's like, yeah, me and Dave, like we just can't be together and I don't think we should talk. And then like Dave rushes on stage and he's like, what do you mean? And then they like make up and they kiss, and like the whole show, like everything that was aired and the whole reunion becomes about their love story because they're fucking stupid and couldn't keep it hidden from the producers. And Charlie obviously being gay, like, and in love with Dave. It has absolutely no chemistry with any of the women, and then they're like, okay, well, let's just like change what the show is this season. And it was so fucking cute. Okay, spoilers over. Okay, so now that the spoilers are over, let me tell you why I'm giving this 5 stars. 5 stars. This is the first vlogged Jakey K Reads 5-star. I have found a 5-star since starting the channel, but I didn't vlog it. It's the first one I'm vlogging. You guys, I didn't expect this to have such poignant takes on mental health. Like, this was just supposed to be a cute little rom-com, but like everything I was saying in the last clip about Charlie, like, sorry for my ableist language, but like being a fucking freak, like there was a lot of conversation therein about his obsessions and his panic disorder and the way that's affected him throughout his life and with his relationship with his family and in past romantic relationships and in relationships in his career. And I just really didn't expect it to have such raw takes about that. And as someone who also struggles with OCD, like you might not be able to tell by my apartment, but like that's a conversation that's had in here that I really appreciated, that like obsessive compulsive disorder just isn't about like organization. There's a line in here, he's telling Dave, he's like, I have OCD, like real OCD, not where I just think it's cute to like organize my pens in my pen holder or whatever. It's like something to that effect. And there's just like that conversation about like misconceptions surrounding OCD and how people think it's just like a organizational quirk. And like as someone living with OCD and also living this way, like I can attest to the fact that that's not what it is. And each moment where I don't have a panic disorder, but for Charlie, the OCD and the panic disorder are like 1 and 1. And so his the way his OCD is expressed is a little bit more dramatic than mine. But when an obsession hits, it's a very like particular feeling. Like it's sort of like and she describes it so real in here about how there's just kind of like this fuzzy like TV static feeling that you get where like it feels like you're sort of underwater and like everything is blocked out and like you're just hyper focused on this one thing and like everything else like goes away. And it's very like disarming when that happens, and it can happen completely out of nowhere about the completely dumbest thing, the complete randomest thing. That's what I was talking about in the clip that's probably immediately before this about the like bourbon stain on the t-shirt, because the way that he honed in on that and obsessed on that one thing was like so real. And then what I loved about it when I was like, oh, I'm gonna love this book, is the way Dave handled that. And like the little tics that Charlie has to try and regulate his obsessive behavior was so real. Like he has this thing where he like has to type out the Morse code for calm on his knees, and like I don't have anything that sophisticated, but like I have my own little tapping ritual that I do to self-regulate when I'm feeling an obsession. And like those like tactile regulators like was like, it's real. Like that's what people have to do sometimes to like regulate themselves. And I just thought it was so like, I just didn't expect that. I didn't expect it to go there. And then Dave has his own mental health struggles. He struggles with depression, and like I found that whole analysis to be very real from my own experiences as well. So I just like Alison Cochrane just like clearly, you know, has her own struggles with these things as well, and is so generous in her explanations of what that looks like. I have to assume, because it was just so real the way she was writing about it, so I have to assume that she struggles with those things. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she like has people in her life that do, and they explained it to her. I don't know, but it was very, very real, and it made these characters like for a bunch of other reasons also, but like these characters just jumped off the page and were so relatable to me particularly, and like I'm sure they're relatable to thousands of other people as well, but like I just found them so relatable. And the fact that those things, like they were able to love each other and accept each other because of those things and not in spite of them, which is stated like clearly just like that in the book, but is also like shown in their actions and how they treat each other, and being there for each other through those moments. Like it was just, I just appreciated all of that so much. And then in this like super fun setting of like, what if the Bachelor was gay and fell in love with his producer, and like the way all of those things played out that I just talked about in the spoiler segment, if you watched it, was just so charming. And I just loved it so much. I loved this book so much. I did not expect it to be as like profound in some ways as it was. Like in some moments it really had something to say, and I just like didn't expect that in a cute little rom-com. So I loved this so much. This is 5-star down. Congratulations for the first 5-star vlog.jkk rates. Love this. Okay. And then after that, like the day after today, I read Fake Dates and Mooncakes. And fortunately, we did not go from like amaze to flop. This wasn't as good, but like it's YA, so like I of course am not gonna think it's as good because I can't relate to it as much. But I still really loved this, and unfortunately with this one I can't pinpoint why I loved it as well as I'm able to pinpoint it here, outside of the fact that it's just like a cute book with like characters who have a good dynamic. To some degree, that's all a romance has to be. But I unfortunately am able to discern a bunch of reasons why I didn't love this as much as this, and I hate to be negative, but like that's really all I have to say. So I'm gonna give this a 4. This was, I really love this. I really enjoyed this. I just don't think like contemporary YA romance is ever gonna get a 5-star from me, because I just am not, at 29 years old, gonna be able to relate to these characters as much as I'm gonna be able to relate to characters who are my age. Like they're 28 in The Charm Offensive, Charlie and Dave, and they're 17. So like obviously I'm not gonna relate to them as much. So like that buzz, that thing that I need to feel in a 5-star, I'm just not gonna feel when they're over 10 years younger than me. So like that's one thing. The other thing is like, well, okay, let me go back. Let me preface all of this by saying teenagers should have access to stories like this. Queer teenagers, especially, should have access to stories that are super idealized and hopeful and gives them a happy ending. Like, yes, they should have that. But super idealized and hopeful and happy ending, like the most happy ending it can be, does not the most exciting book make for me at 29. So, I think my issues with this book are all wrapped into that statement right there. Like, one thing, just because you say your characters are 17 years old does not mean they're 17 years old. Like, the events that happen in this book, some of them, it's like, okay, these characters could be any age. Like, let me tell you what it's about, because it's important for what I'm about to say. This is Theo. This is Dylan. Dylan's aunt owns a Chinese restaurant, and one day, middle, he meets Theo, and they are interested in each other. Theo keeps coming to the restaurant, and eventually he asks Dylan if he will be his date to a wedding for one of Theo's family members, because he needs to bring a date, which I didn't even really believe, but that's like a lesser problem. It doesn't need to be talked about. But anyway, so that's how they meet. And it's like, for the first half of this book, it's called Fake Dates and Mooncakes. And after reading this, I feel like this order, or like this title, is like implying sequential order of events of the book. Like, the first half of the back book was the fake dating, and the second half of the book was Mooncakes. And that's one of my issues. Like, I wish things were more intertwined in this book, but it's like the first half of the book, they go to the wedding together and they're fake dating, and then after that they realize that they're actually interested in each other. And the second half of the book is the Mooncakes plot, which is, there's a competition for restaurants to make the best mooncake, and the winner gets a prize, and it's a cash prize, and Dylan's aunt's restaurant is like failing for a variety of reasons, so he needs the money to like help his aunt. So that's that. So it's like the fake date wedding situation, and then the mooncake restaurant plot, and they're like not very intertwined together. So like that was a con. But what got me on this tangent? What was I saying before? Oh yeah, so like Theo's rich, and he's inviting Dylan to like his rich family's wedding, and they're like driving a Ferrari together, and Dylan, as not rich, he needs to get a custom suit. So Dylan calls up his family's custom tailor, and they go get his suit made, and then they're like driving their Ferrari to I forgot, the Hamptons, to go to this wedding, which it turns out Theo actually wasn't invited to, because there's like family drama there. So he's like crashing the family wedding, and it's like, you guys are 17. Y'all are 17 years old. So like, I don't believe any of this is happening for 17-year-olds. Like that series of events just felt a little bit too mature for 17-year-olds for me, but maybe I just don't know rich 17-year-olds. I don't know. So there was like plot believability issues, I think, for me, but like, that's fine for a young adult market. Like, young adults, teenagers who are struggling, who are trying to see themselves in media, who want to see happy stories, successful stories, hopeful stories that they can see themselves in. Like, that's important. So like, a super idealized, unrealistic fairy tale happy ending book featuring gay characters is important for someone. And like, I love that. And I did think it was so cute, but me, you know, having over a decade past this age range and like all the disillusionment that comes with that, I like can't help but see the the like unbelievability of it that like kind of affects my enjoyment a little bit. But like they are just so cute and their romance is so cute and the fake dating was cute. Not enough tension for me, but like I just think that's a young adult thing. Like I think like creating more tension is more of an adult thing. And then also, like, to create more tension, you create roadblocks, you create things getting in their way from being together, you create antagonistic situations. And in how many pages was this book? Less than 300. 262 pages. There was like 3 or 4 moments where like they fight and like either break up once they're together or like pull away from each other. Like there are like 3 or 4 things getting in their way and getting them to move away from each other that like is supposed to create conflict, but like each of those things are wrapped up like that. Like they come and go. And there's like a lot of them. Like are these conflicts meant to create friction between them that are just like introduced and like resolved like within a couple chapters. And like that's a problem. But like maybe not for YA. Like maybe it's fine for not maybe, like I think it is fine for YA. Like it doesn't have to be super mature and super sophisticated in the like layering of the beats for this trope for 17-year-olds. Like it doesn't need to be. So like all of those criticisms come with like a huge disclaimer that I am 12 years older than these people. So like it's fine. But all of that is to say my personal opinions lead me to give this a 4, which is a totally fine rating. Like this was a win. This, I'm very, very happy with a 4-star book. Like a 4-star book is great. So this video is off to a great start and I'm happy. And now we're going to get into Crazy Rich Asians. Okay, I am 36% of the way into Crazy Rich Asians, and I'm listening to it exclusively on audiobook, and I really, really love the narrator. Great audiobook. Very much recommend consuming it that way. I'm enjoying this. This isn't a story I typically am interested in. Like, I don't really care about like rich people or like fame or like family drama for drama's sake. Like I don't really like dramas like in any kind of media, like books, TV shows, movies. I don't really like dramas that much. I'm enjoying this. I like all the characters, like everyone, for the fucking amount of characters in this book. Like I literally had to write them all down and like make a chart with their dynamics. Maybe I'd show you, but it's over there and I don't feel like doing all that. But yeah, for the amount of characters there, everyone feels very alive. Like everyone is so fleshed out. Everyone like is so like tangible. Like they're all so colorful. Like very good job with the characters and the writing too. Like with the descriptions of things, like Kevin Kwan is just as good at describing setting as he is describing people. Like he's a very good describer. So I'm very much into it and just like enjoying my time because of that. Plot wise though, at 36%, we aren't really any further along than we were at 0%, which right now I'm fine with, but I envision it getting old like within the next couple percent. It's just about this disgustingly rich family and the dynamics between them. And so I'll like make my analysis in 2 parts. One about the disgustingly richness of it all and one about the dynamics of the family. The disgustingly richness of it all is like where we are at mostly at 36%. A lot of where we've been so far and what we've seen so far is just them living in excess. Like, and that's like really all it is. It's them on their trips and it's them, you know, in their houses and it's them at their brunches and like it's them on their jets and like that's where we are. And like the descriptions of like how palatial things are and how like luxe their possessions are. Without those descriptors, I feel like I would not be at 36% of the way through this book. I'd probably be at like 15. Like just them being rich and living at rich people or living as rich people is pretty much all this book has been so far. And it's fun. Like, I'm having a good time. I'm not upset at all. Like, it is really fun just seeing these crazy rich people being crazy rich. Like, it's fun. It's a good time. And Kevin Kwan is a very good describer. So if nothing else, it's just nice to read. Plot-wise, though, i.e. the family dynamics, we haven't moved a whole lot. We've learned a few things about, like, Astrid and her husband, like Nick and his girlfriend, how Nick's mom, Eleanor, feels about the girlfriend. Like, we've learned a little bit just about the protectiveness of... It's kind of twofold. Like, I feel like rich families in general are very protective of, or not protective, controlling over who their children are involved with, because like there's always the fear of like, you know, you're dating a gold digger, they're in it for the money, they don't really want you for you type thing. So they're just very controlling over who is going to be let into our dynasty. But then there's also that same conversation in the book, but just about like that mindset within Asian families of any class, like that sort of control over who they want their children to be associating with because of the pride that the family wants to maintain. So that angle, like, is we're coming at that idea from two directions, from wealth and from culture. And so like that is the most like family dynamic and plot movement we've seen, is like that being analyzed. And then it's like just in this super, super wealthy setting. So I'm having a good time, but I needed to go somewhere. Like we need to get going, you know? So I'll check back in with you and let you know if we got going. We did not get going. That book was horrible. That book was so bad. I just finished it as I parked right now. I just came upstairs. I was like, I need to talk about this. I'm not gonna film the like video wrap up right now. I'll do that later. But I needed to talk about this. Nothing happens in this book. Literally nothing happens in this book. This book was just a way for Kevin Kwan to like flex his knowledge of designer labels. Like that's all this book was. All it was one scene after another of these rich people doing rich things. That's all it was. And like there was a suggestion of plot between Rachel and Nicholas, and like Nicholas's family not accepting Rachel because they see her as like a commoner. And like some, I won't say who, but there's an affair going on within the family. Somebody and their spouse, like there's an affair angle, and there's a little bit of like mystery as to why the spouse is having an affair and what's causing that the other party is trying to find out. And there's a little bit of mystery with Rachel herself, because Eleanor, Nicholas's mom, she decides to get a private investigator to like investigate Rachel's history and like figure out like where she comes from, and things are discovered there. So there's like suggestion of plot, but if like literally taking away, I don't know how many pages the book was, I did it on audiobook, but taking away the parts of it that are like actual story movement, it's like maybe a quarter of the book. And the rest of it was just nothing. Like, it was literally nothing. Nothing happened. Like, I maintain what I said earlier about Kevin Kwan being a very lush descriptor. Like, his description of all these things that were happening were all good, but I just feel like it was a way for him to jerk himself off. Like, we fucking get it, dude. You know these designer labels, you know what these islands look like, you know these experiences, like some one way or another, like you understand what rich people do with rich money. Like, we fucking get it. Look at you and your big dick. I'm bored now. Like, I'm just fucking bored now. And that's all it was. And then the ending, like, attention all writers, because I know every single writer is watching this. When, like, the end of the book, first of all, it's bad. Just no matter how you do it, it's bad in general for the ending of your book to just be an explanation of the entire book. Like, that's bad in general. But if you're gonna do it, don't have your character just being dialogue. Like, show us the scene, switch the POV, make it a new chapter, show us what happens, and then come back and have the character who just learned these things react to it. But, like, literally just blocks of paragraph for pages and pages and pages, or what I'm assuming are pages and pages and pages, because it was like 20 minutes on the audiobook. But just, like, chunks of dialogue, the character with the information just talking and saying it. Give us the scene. Show us the fucking scene. It was so goddamn boring. Oh my God, that pissed me off so bad. And then the end, like, I know this is a series, and I didn't know going into it that it was meant to be a series. Like, I knew it was a series, but I kind of thought that the rest of the books were, like, cash grabs because of the success of the movie. But, like, clearly that's not true, because the ending of the book resolved, like, nothing. It resolved one little side plot, the, like, mystery that was uncovered with Rachel that Eleanor, like, found out through private investigation. Like, it kind of resolved that. That came and went in the time it took me to drive home from work. So, like, it was, like, not even a B plot. It was, like, a fucking G plot. Like, it was so down the alphabet. Because, like, it came, like, it was introduced and was gone in, like, an hour of the audiobook. And nothing else was resolved. Nothing else that we've been going through this entire book, like, wanting to figure out was resolved, because all it was fucking rich people going on vacations and going to weddings. So we didn't actually learn anything. We don't know anything about the characters. We don't know anything about what they are going through in their lives, the drama that unfolds, these plots that you've introduced. We learn nothing about that. We just learn that they went to a fucking wedding. And that's it. That book was bad. That book pissed me off. That was so fucking boring, dude. By the time I was reaching the end, I'd given up on it, on it being a 3. I was like, I'm not going to try and convince myself this is a 3. Like, this is going to be a 2. But I'm sitting here now after that, and I'm like, is that a 1? Was that a 1-star book? I rarely give books a 1 that I've finished. If I can finish it, it deserves at least a 2 in my mind. But that, I don't know. I don't fucking know, dog. I'm going to figure that out and reveal that when I wrap up this video. I'm not doing that right now. I'm, like, sitting here right now. I'm so heated. I want to give it a 1. I'm going to sit on it for a little bit. I'll probably film my wrap up in a couple days. And I'll, will time make me look back on any part of this book fondly? If I can look back on any part of this book fondly, I'll try and be generous. But sitting here right now, having just finished it 5 minutes ago, that shit might need to get a 1. It might need to get a 1. Okay, I will just quickly wrap up this vlog here. I read 3 books in this vlog, inspired by the first 3 runways on RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17. Masc for Masked Singer led me to my first 5-star vlogged book on JKK Reads, The Charm Offensive. And then Is It Cake led me to Fake Dates and Mooncakes, and Monopulence, which was a 4-star. And then Monopulence led me to, I think, my first, like, real flop. Not I think, my actual real first flop, Crazy Rich Asians, which I've decided to give a 2. I decided that last night, and I, like, don't know why I decided not to be a hater. Can I give a reason? No, I think I just like decided like, well, I finished it. And like, I don't know, the writing was like not horrible. It was like the storytelling that was horrible. So like, I don't know, there were things that were fine. I hate to end on a bad note. So let's just ignore it. Let's just talk about these. Let's just talk about these. Love these. Love these so much. Highly recommend. If you're looking to read about gay people after watching about gay people, i.e. Drag Race, then pick up one of these. And with that, I leave you. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.